Hey guys and gals, it's Luthien along with Emrys, and welcome to Girls with Sabers. Before we get to our regular scheduled podcast, we have a quick announcement. First up, thank you so much for your encouragement to do live, raw, and barely edited shows. From YouTube to Tumblr, we have gotten lots of positive feedback, so thanks so much. We are going to do those types of podcasts from now on. But first, we do have a few edited podcasts waiting in the wings that need to be released. So after those drop, it's nothing but GWS realness. Yeah, I just made GWS a thing. Second, we are going to be talking about Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. A lot. We realized that many may not be familiar with this wonderful story, but when we recorded that summary, let's just say it turned into an audiobook no one wanted to pay for. So, we bring you Sparky Sweet's Thug Notes, Pride and Prejudice explained by a GANGSTA. Please click the link below that we're providing for you, and you will be transported to a true masterpiece. So, Thug Notes for Pride and Prejudice. Then, watch and listen to our podcast. Heck, even if you know Pride and Prejudice, watch it anyway, because it's hysterical. Peace, love, and Reylo, guys.
Feel it in the force. Feel it as a Poe disturbance of the force.
The force is tingling all over the place, guys.
Exactly. Reylo is live, people. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, aunties, that you're missing out on all the fun, because it is fun. The hate for Reylo was horrible in the years after The Force Awakens. I mean, just video after video.
All we had to go on was a theory and dissecting what you already knew of the trope of a little bit of Death in the Maiden. And then obviously it had Beauty and the Beast written all over it.
Oh my gosh, he freaking says, "Be my guest."
Yeah. Oh, where am I?
You're my guest.
You're my guest. Yeah. Hello. Duh. It's the Beast. BB-8's Chip. Oh my God, don't make me go on another epic tangent. YouTube it. YouTube Reylo and Beauty and the Beast, and you are going to find one of the most beautiful videos out there. Yeah. I don't remember who made it. Credit to the artist because it's dope. Link below. Watch it. It is brilliant. Perfect sense.
Rey's theme has the prologue hidden within it. Yes. She has a drooping rose in her at home.
Flipping flower dying. Hello, people.
And do you know when the Beast grits his teeth a lot, like his lower jaw kind of overbites? Kylo does the same thing.
All over the place.
Yeah, Kylo does that continuously. Yep. Also, do you remember when the Beast slashes his portrait and the scar goes over his eye, down his cheek? Yes. Kylo's scar.
Yep.
Hello, people.
Total
Fallen Prince.
Beauty and the Beast in space.
Jane Eyre in space. Burning tree. Yep. Red string under the ribs. Oh my gosh.
Because we've stated before how we feel, and other videos have stated this as well, other YouTubers, that this is Pride and Prejudice in space.
Beauty and the Beast in space.
And if that's the case, then I think Poe is the marriage of the two. The culmination of Wickham and Gaston together. We know Poe and his family were very close to the Solos. Obviously, that means Poe and Ben knew each other growing up. Whether they're friends or not is quite possibly irrelevant. Point is, they grew up together.
Just like Wickham and Darcy did.
Yep. Ben, just like Darcy, is very shy, has a lot of social anxieties and issues. Darcy does not. You see in Pride and Prejudice, he's a wallflower. He sticks to his own. He's not comfortable. He's not comfortable with people he has never met before. The same goes with Ben. Mm-hmm. Reading into the novels more. You have Last Shot. You have Bloodline comics. Reading more about Ben, you come to find that he's very Darcy-esque. Poe and Wickham match up almost perfectly. They're cocky, they're arrogant.
Gaston is very welcomed into that community of that little town that Belle lives in. I mean, we see him, the audience sees him right away as he is. We don't see Wickham as he is until further into the story. But everyone in that community thinks he's the hero, just like the Resistance sees him.
Yep,
as
thinks
their
Poe is this
leader,
amazing.
And all the girls are, swooning over him as he walks by, and no one really sees him for what he is, which is basically a jerk, and he only wants Belle as another trophy, as another object.
The same thing can be said of Wickham. When the regiment comes through and they're all in town shopping, everyone's, they go instantly insane over the fact that the regiment's coming by. And then he's back in town with Elizabeth. They're all kind of swoony over him. And he has the looks. You look at Poe Dameron, he knows he's good looking. And he's always talking about, especially in the comic, how he's the best pilot in the galaxy. And more so, Rey, she did the Elizabeth thing. The first true time she met him, she got a little giggly, schoolgirlish.
Yes, she did.
Like, hi. She blushed. Yeah. But of course she did. He's very attractive. And of course she's heard a little bit about him.
What Elizabeth says to Jane about Wickham and Darcy after she reads this letter, she goes, it looks like Darcy has all the goodness, but Wickham has all the appearance of goodness.
Yes.
And, we think Wickham is this great hero, but at his heart core, he's very self-centered. Where Ben looks like he is aloof and evil and dark and twisted, but at his core, he actually has a really good heart, but it's just a wounded one.
But as Gaston is very out there, he is arrogant and physically very bullyish. The interesting thing about Gaston, and he was brash and arrogant out the gate. With Wickham, from Pride and Prejudice, you really got the feeling that Darcy really slighted him, and I mean slighted him.
Oh yeah.
Especially when he goes into saying, "Oh, we grew up together, and I was like a second son to his father, and then when his father died, he bequeathed me all this money, yet I didn't get anything, and I'm the victim." Poe, again, I think his father died when he was pretty young. Either his mother died when he was young or his father, but either way, by the time Poe was 18, he had lost both of his parents. He has this special bond with both Han and Leia. Leia is probably definitely a surrogate mother figure to Poe. Hence why you see him so touched when she's laying there in The Last Jedi and he touches her hand. Again, why touch is so important in these films. He touches her hand. He sees his mother lying there. I think he does truly love Leia.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But he also feels like Ben couldn't be the son Leia deserves, so I'm going to be the son she deserves.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Wickham, with Darcy's father. Feeling like I deserve these good things. Everyone was taken aback by it. They never truly knew. Lizzie, if she had a hint at all, would have been when Wickham was talking about Darcy's character and Elizabeth said, well, I never got that impression at all from him. And she kind of has this puzzling look on her face. Other than that, there was no questioning of Darcy. It was all, Wickham is the victim, and why would you treat him like that? And of course, Darcy doesn't say it outright right away. Obviously, he doesn't want to slander Georgiana, his sister. But he's still very prideful, so he's feeling like, oh, of course you would believe him. He's this gorgeous soldier, and he gets all upset at that. Again, men and women not communicating. If Darcy and Elizabeth were to communicate with each other, they would have gotten married at the beginning of the book. Yeah. After they touched hands, they would have gotten married. Yeah, Wickham fooled everyone. And until that whole thing with Elizabeth's sister,
Lydia,
he had everyone fooled. Everyone.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Poe.
Yeah.
If they truly go the Wickham route, obviously there's, as of right now, there's truly no, there's really no Lydia in this situation right now, but I can see Poe coming in and being all flirtatious like we saw in The Last Jedi at the very, very end when they're on the Falcon, coming on to Rey. They're skipping some beats and progressing in this arc where in 9 everything will come out, how Poe and Ben know each other, how that whole dynamic happened. Poe, it's possible Poe could have been very mean to Ben.
Mm-hmm.
If they weren't friends, he could have been very mean. He could have called him names, this and that. So another reason why Ben was very rough on him in the interrogation scene, slamming his head back in. Plus, there's this competition, this rivalry, not only for his parents' attention, but just natural manly rivalry. You have Ben going off to train with Uncle Luke, and Leia gives Poe BB-8. Now Ben knows that, and hates that even more.
Yeah,
because that's my droid, and now he has my droid, and now my droid is loyal to him. This will be very interesting. Poe have this relationship, and Ben obviously knows who Poe is, but Poe doesn't know who Kylo Ren is underneath the mask. I don't truly think we've gotten any indication that he knows from any comic or novel.
You know how you said there may not be a Lydia?
Mm-hmm.
I think there might be, or at least a young woman that he can kind of manipulate. Because you saw that in The Last Jedi with Carrie Fisher's real life daughter, Lieutenant Connick, the little blonde cinnamon bun girl. Like, basically, every time he needed something, whether it was to lie to the Admiral.
That is a good point.
You know, the mutiny, she was there.
Not for you, Billy Lord. It is not for you.
And she's very doe-eyed. I mean, very, like, willing to help him in everything. And you see that there's constant eye contact between them. There's constant nonverbal cues. And at first, I thought, oh, maybe they're setting them up as a couple because he's the Han Solo of the franchise, or at least that's what they said in the beginning. And she's Carrie Fisher's daughter. So maybe that's like some cinematic poetry that, you know, the daughter of Carrie Fisher marries the Han Solo of this new saga. But then I think, okay, if he is the Wickham, that would be probably his Lydia. Not that he's going to go run off with her, but he could get her, he can manipulate her to go somehow do his bidding and undermine everything. Does that make sense?
Especially if Rey rejects, when Rey rejects him.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's when we'll see the true turn.
Who's Elizabeth's best friend in Pride and Prejudice?
Charlotte.
Yes, Charlotte. Rose is going to be that for Rey. That brings it back to our last video where I said Rose is going to be the first one to notice something like Rey hiding a relationship with Ben.
Well,
but she's also going to be probably the most observant character in 9. Where she will see Poe for who he really is before Finn does. She's going to see the relationship between Rey and Ben before anyone else does. She's going to be Charlotte to Rey.
Yeah, I can see that.
She knows, she gets to brass tacks.
Yeah.
And she's very smart. I think she's going to see that through Poe, especially now if he's going to be acting even more brash. She's going to hate the fact that if some of the leaks prove true, he's going to hate the fact that some people, even in the Resistance, are going to feel that Kylo Ren is a benevolent leader.
Oh, yeah.
And when he finds out it's Ben, he's going to hate that even more, especially if people come to him and tell him his faults as a leader.
Yep.
No more Leia, no more Holdo. It's going to come down to Poe because there's no one left right now. It's going to be very interesting to see the Poe and Ben dynamic in 9. I think it's going to mirror Wickham from Pride and Prejudice with a little bit of Gaston. Mm-hmm. Especially when Gaston asks Belle, how can you love this monster or whatever? And, Belle goes, he's not a monster. Well, we've heard that before, that term monster. I feel Poe will do the same thing to Rey. How can you love such a monster? He's killed people. Well, Poe, remember, you've killed people too. They touch on it a little bit in the comic. But I think that type of scene will happen in 9. I feel that Poe will have this moment where darkness is starting to fester even more in him. He finds out Kylo is Ben. The competition from,
that took root in their childhood is going to boil over 10 times fold. And then,
if I was hearing this theory, didn't Poe learn his lesson in The Last Jedi? Because you had Holdo and Leia giving him the little tracker that is tracking Rey and saying that Holdo thought it was more important to
serve the light
than to be a hero, and Poe kind of shakes his head. Then on Crate, he is more sensitive to people turning back and not risking life as they head to the cannon on Crate, and he was listening to the foxes and led them out. So my question is, does that ruin our theory?
I don't think it ruins the theory, because what truly is its motivation behind it? Does he really get it?
The test will be, does he have to sacrifice something that is dear to him?
Right. But also, what could send him kind of over the edge into type of the devious, self-serving hatred? Finding out that Rey is choosing Kylo Ren. Yep. She's choosing Ben. And finding out Ben is Kylo Ren.
Mm-hmm.
And also BB-8 going to Ben. BB-8 seeing Ben again after all this time and rolling on off to Ben. That would send Poe over the edge.
And not wanting him to leave. Yes.
And possibly trying to hurt BB-8 if I can't have him, you can't have him either.
And the same goes with Rey.
Yes, exactly. I think something like Leia's death could be the start of a snowball rolling off the top of the hill, and then it all goes downhill after that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone finding out Kylo Ren is Ben Solo, Rey choosing Ben Solo, BB-8 choosing Ben Solo, everyone choosing Ben Solo, and not Poe. That would just flip his gourd.
It would. I think you have something there. I really do.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of it, even when the Last Jedi posters came out, where you saw a pyramid of all the characters with all of the bad characters on the right side. You have all of the good characters on the left side, and Poe is in between all of the bad characters. I mean, he's on the same side as Hux, as Kylo, as
Phasma. And people will make the argument that that's just visual symmetry. Certainly, there's only so many characters, and in a poster, you want visual symmetry, so it makes sense. But as we know, Star Wars is very much about hidden, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's symbolism and
Subtext.
metaphor. And
symbolism.
Yes. I mean, the whole thing is symbolism. It's just like and that's what an epic usually is some sort of allegory that has a lot of figurative, where things, colors, sounds, subjects, settings always have multiple meanings.
Right. Especially the way Poe dresses, paralleling him to Wickham and to Gaston. Their coloring is the same. Poe in his resistance fighter uniform mirrors Wickham in his regimental garb and in Gaston's dress in Beauty and the Beast.
When you look at Finn and Poe, see by Real McGee, like there is some shiftiness with Poe in that painting. And look at how she basically puts Poe in Wickham's uniform.
I mean, totally.
Red.
Bring up that side by side. It is completely accurate. And Poe is the shyster.
Yes.
He is self-serving shyster.
Shifty of the eye. His hands are in his pocket, and of course, whenever you're hiding your hands in gloves or in pockets, what does that always mean, people? You had in your. You are keeping a secret. You have something.
Your true self. Get with the program, read some classics, and then this will all open up in front of your eyes.
It's a whole new world we're showing you. We are the Aladdin.
It's a whole new world.
So guys, if you really enjoyed what we had to say today, please give us a big thumbs up, like this video, comment below, subscribe to our channel, make sure to turn on notifications to all so you get all the new content we feel like dropping on any given day, really. All magic comes with a price.